Have you ever been scammed? I've been scammed before. Like, as in, had to reset my Facebook password. Or one time I got scammed from some football tickets. That was pretty frustrating. But this time, takes the cake. I've thought about telling you guys this story for a while, but I hate putting out basically negative reviews. In fact, I don't know that I ever have, especially where I tell you guys the name of a business. And I hate to do that, but as I was thinking about filming this video, what's the point in telling you a story if I don't tell you where it occurred and what business it occurred with, and potentially save you some heartache, or at least going into something with your eyes wide open. If you choose to purchase something from this business, I'm not telling you not to, I'm just want you to have the information, you know, to potentially avoid some heartache. So let's back up a bit to probably a year and a half ago. We decided to retire our old UTV. It was actually a Kawasaki mule. It had done us and served our family well for years. It still had life left in it, but we decided at that time to sell it and to purchase our farm truck. We try to do everything we can as frugally as possible. We try not to go into debt unless we feel like it's necessary for the operation of our farm or whatever the case may be. But we do not take that lightly, going into debt. So that was the reason we sold that. When a few months went by, maybe even a year, it became apparent on our 100-head cattle farm that a UTV definitely had its place here, and we missed it way more than we thought we would in the operation and day-to-day chores we do here on our farm. So we started thinking about, you know, could we afford to purchase another one? If so, what would we purchase and what could we afford? Because we knew we could not get one with all the bells and whistles that looked the best. We couldn't go on appearance or anything like that. We had to go on functionality, and we wanted to stick within our budget, which we were just set on doing that. We began to think about the fact that our mule had served us well. So we made the decision to go with another Kawasaki mule. We began to look around, and we were on a very tight budget. And I do believe this is where we went wrong, and in the spirit of being completely transparent in this video, I am opening myself up to your criticism by telling you all these things and bringing things to your attention, thoughts you might not even have right off the bat had I not said these things. So please keep that in mind in the comments, that I'm already telling you these things, and so it won't do any good to bring those up and beat a dead horse, if you will. So we do feel strongly about shopping local. I believe that's where we went wrong. We stayed within our state, but we did not go super local. We drove a couple hours away instead of buying super locally to us. And here's why. Just like everything else, just like vehicles and everything else, prices skyrocketed beginning with COVID and thereafter. And here we are in 2023, and we decided 6 months ago to purchase this, and at that time prices were still high and getting higher. And not only that, inventory was low. So two reasons led us to drive a couple hours away. One is availability. We could not find one locally that was not already decked out. Our local dealer would take the basic models of mules, deck them out, and then they could jack the price up. And we didn't want one decked out with bells and whistles. We didn't need it, and we couldn't pay for it. So they didn't offer a basic model like we were looking for. Two, even if they would have, this place that was a couple hours away was the cheapest price we could find, and it was more in line with the cash we had on hand, and so that led us to contacting them. Ben was in contact with the salesman, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, this place is near Jonesboro. It's called Jonesboro Cycle and ATV, and so Ben contacted them. The salesman was nice, and I won't say he was super accommodating, because he he knew that the demand was high and the supply was low. So when you get in that situation like we've been in with vehicles and lots of other things, that kind of changes things, where the customer's not always right, and the customer's not always, you know, driving the train whether they're going to buy this thing or not. They kind of know they've got you if they know you want this thing and you need this thing. So they went back and forth, and basically we knew it was going to be this way. They called and said, okay, we're getting one in like 2 days or something, and you've got to pay a deposit online to even for us to hold it for you to drive up here. There's no more like, hey, can you hold it for me for a few weeks so I can come look at it? There's no more of that. So we had to pay something online to be able to hold it and reserve it for us to come look at. We basically already knew we wanted it. This was a brand new machine. So we basically told them, you know, okay, we will do that. We're limited because we're running a farm. Ben has a full-time job off the farm. He took time, a day off from work, to go up there. We both take off and go up there. We know what we're getting. And I think that was another part of the problem, because we did know what we were getting and we were willing to commit to it. So we show up to get this machine, and they had told us exactly when we had to come, on what day. And so it wasn't really convenient for us, but we made it happen. We showed up when they said, expecting that they were on a tight time frame, which we are as well. We have a lot of things going on that demand our attention. We get there and it's not ready, and they didn't seem to even care that we were there. We waited around for a couple hours. I'm usually a very patient person, and I'm the one in my family going, it's fine, guys. Even I was like, I was fit to be tied, because we were in the middle of May, which is busy time around here, waiting for a couple hours for a machine they knew we were coming for. But I really do think it was because the salesman already knew he had us. So he didn't even speak more than 2 words to us, didn't introduce himself. We only knew who he was because he has a name tag and because we asked other people who he even was. And when we told them we were there for him, they went and told him, and he maybe said 2 words for us. No updates in these 2 hours of what's going on and why we're just milling around this place waiting. And so we decided to go to the back where they have all of these UTVs and ATVs lined up. We found ours, and it was in the very back corner, wedged in amongst a lot of other machines. And so we just started to ask questions like, we need to go. We want to buy this. Can you get it for us? And they just kept putting us off until eventually we got someone to listen to get the machine out. And they claimed that they were having to put it together. All the while we watched it sit back in the corner. Got someone to help us, and then lo and behold, we weren't even, knowing what was going on yet. We weren't to the point of buying it yet, and our salesman says he's sorry, but he has to leave to go fishing. And so he's leaving us with someone who just started there. And he said he'll take real good care of you. This kid was super nice he left us with, but he'd just begun his job. I felt sorry for him as well. And he's trying to lead us through this transaction. It was a nightmare. I could not wait to get out of there and just get our machine and get out of there. So we're going to take a ride on this thing. And so to sum up the story of the purchase, we get to the checkout portion of this deal, and we had told the guy all of our info. We were coming at the certain time for their convenience, waited on them to put it together, get to the checkout, and there is a large amount in taxes. And we had let them know that we are tax exempt. A lot of farms are, or we went through the process to be. So we don't pay taxes on things like this that are for farm use. That was on there. So then we had to wait another while for them to get that taken off. And that can be a substantial amount of money. So that was a bit frustrating. Finally got the deal done, go outside to load up and leave. And They've not even offered for us to drive this thing yet. We drive it around the parking lot. It seems okay. Again, we have a salesman trying to help explain how to work everything that just began this job. Another guy had mercy on him, thankfully. I don't know that guy's name, I wish I did. He was the most helpful person. Came out and explained some things to us to get us on the road. Told us about, you know, going half speed for the first 20 hours to get your engine like broke in and all that, and pretty important things. So we get on the road, get home, unload it. So excited at this point, even though through the bad experience, still so grateful we were able to purchase this, and it's going to be a great asset to our farm. Start to use it. As you can see above me, there's not a roof on it. Those are extra, like $1,000. And so we went as bare bones as we could and still buy a really good machine. This is a Kawasaki Mule 4010, and it's 4-wheel drive. It's got 2 rows of seats for the hope of grandkids one day, and just for our 4-person family to ride on now. And so get home really excited about this purchase. First literal afternoon of driving it, it starts overheating to the point we have to stop and let it cool off before we can come back home from the field. Thought, okay, maybe, I don't know what's going on. Took it out a little bit the next day, overheating. And so it's undrivable at this point. We can't risk overheating it. Wound up calling them back. Again, this is Jonesboro Cycle and ATV. And they said, well, here's things it could possibly be. And sure enough, Ben wound up fixing it himself for us, and they had failed to hook the fan motor up. And so the fan was not working to keep it cooled off. That's a big problem. In talking to them about it, because we don't want that to happen to someone else, they proceed to tell us they did not put it together, as we were told when we were waiting 2 hours. That all they had done was put the top on it, the roll cage. And so we already felt kind of disgruntled about this many $1,000 purchase that we just don't feel like we got very good customer service for. And then now we feel like we've been spun a tale. It just left a bad taste in our mouth. So there's nothing to do at that point. So we just kind of moved on and just started using the machine. And after using it the first couple days, it became apparent that there was something bad wrong with it. So we didn't have to drive it very many times, and we started to hear a very significant rattling in the front end, kind of under your foot. As you would push the gas pedal, you could hear it. The passenger could hear it, as well as if you were the one driving, you could feel it. You could feel something rattling around in there, and it would happen. You'd be driving for a little bit and then it would start every single time. And if you put it in 4-wheel drive, we came to find out, we figured that out on our own, that it would stop. We took it in. We wound up not going back to Jonesboro because we had had enough of dealing with them at that point. And it's a good thing we did, because this thing has been in and out of the shop. I've lost count of the amount of times. We took it somewhere local. They have tried to do right by us because they're a Kawasaki dealer as well. And you may be thinking, we didn't buy it from them. Well, it's just like if you went somewhere and bought a car and then you buy a protection plan or a warranty, and your car's a Chevrolet, you still expect good service from a Chevrolet dealer that's not the one you bought it from. So keep that in mind here. So we took it locally, and To be honest, we were even frustrated with them the first time or two we took it, because they kept telling us the first time they didn't hear anything. And we tried to explain to them, you know, you have to drive it for a bit and then it will start, and it will be noticeable. You won't have to question. You will hear it. You will feel it. And so came back home, first drive, started up again. So we took it back again. This has been going on for 6 months at this point. Took it back again. I had Ben text me this morning exactly all the things that have been done to it. Keep in mind, this is a brand new 2023 Kawasaki mule. So the first time they thought a heat shield or skid plate was rubbing the spring. And that's what Ben thought all along, something was rubbing or something. He thought something wasn't bolted down. Think of a metal plate under there like shaking and rattling. That's what it felt like and sounded like. But he looked, and Ben is a mechanic. He used to be a mechanic for years. He's a good mechanic, and he couldn't find anything obviously wrong. So the next time, Kawasaki told them to shim the differential, and then the third time, Kawasaki had them replace the whole front differential. After replacing the differential, it still wasn't fixed. So we've taken it a total of 4 times at this point. I lose track of what was done at each time, but it's been in and out of the shop 4 times. Kawasaki told us they do not provide rentals or like a replacement while your machine is being worked on. You know, like if you have a new car and something immediately goes wrong, they'll provide you a loaner. Apparently they don't do that in UTVs. So we spent these thousands of dollars, and we've been without this thing a lot of the time that we've owned it with no replacement. That was kind of frustrating. And what's funny is Kawasaki keeps calling us, asking how satisfied we are. I think it's just their customer service department. And I don't think they're prepared when we tell them we're not satisfied at all. But so after replacing the differential, still wasn't fixed. Kawasaki told them to shim the new differential. Still didn't work. Okay, so now this last time, it's been there quite a while at this point. And Ben has gone by there, and it'll just be sitting there because something else would have come in that took priority. I don't understand how that happens. And to be quite honest, our local place, they have tried to help us, but they have to communicate with Kawasaki, and Kawasaki tells them what to do. So I'm about as equally frustrated with Kawasaki as I am the place that sold it to us, and probably more at this point. And so Kawasaki, this last time, they never explained fully to us what they did, but they did something about aligning the front drive line. They never really explained exactly what that meant, but Ben has driven this thing, and he does believe maybe this time it's fixed. The frustrating part is that before they did this last thing, whatever it is, they did tell our local dealership, Kawasaki being them, Kawasaki told our local dealership, and they told Ben, they said, just to prepare you, I don't think they know how to fix this. And so they're telling us that it just may be a noise that your machine makes from now on. And that, guys, is just not acceptable. And so that is the story of this mule. This story is yet to be finished because we will see if it's actually fixed. But here's what I think. When did we as customers and as consumers have to just accept that? When did companies, large corporations, just get to say, that might just be how it sounds, and you've spent thousands of your hard-earned dollars on this thing, and it doesn't work properly? I know so many people that have bought these brand new, really expensive washer and dryers, and they break, and they don't work half the time, and they're supposed to be the newest and greatest thing. Same thing with all kinds of other appliances and vehicles and just everything. And until we start standing up and saying, no, this is not acceptable, it will continue. And so that is the point of this video, is to get the word out that your stinky customer service is not measuring up. And you may choose to just try to make a sale and treat the customer like a piece of garbage, But you need to realize that you don't know who that customer is. And I'm not saying I'm somebody, but I do have an online voice. And so you need to keep in mind, these big corporations do, that you may be treating someone like a piece of junk. I'm not going to use bad language, but you may be treating someone like a piece of junk that has no platform to get the word out. But you never know when someone comes in that does have a platform and will choose to use it to speak up for the little guy. And that's what I'm doing. Jonesboro Cycle and ATV, your customer service stunk. And I have heard since then that maybe they have fired some people and replaced some. You know what? I hope they did. I hope they did. They claim on their website, and they told us this in person, it's something they're very proud of, that they claim to be the second or third largest power sports dealer in North America. Well, if you are that large and have that much money, do some customer service training. Learn how to treat people. Don't make promises you can't keep. Go read their Google reviews. There's lots of unhappy customers. There's lots of happy ones, but there's just as many unhappy ones with their customer service. Promises made where they drove from out of state and those were not held up. Kawasaki, do better. If you sell a lemon, replace it. If someone spent their hard-earned dollars that they're out at their job working for day after day, and they choose to spend their money with you, and you sell a lemon, which is what this is appearing to be, has a problem even you don't know what it is, replace it. This rant is over for today, but that is the story. I'll let you know the ending if Kawasaki actually has fixed this, and if they haven't, if they do the right thing. It wouldn't bother me if you tagged them in this. In fact, I wish you would. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, and God bless.